Continuing on with Brian's Jaguar. So Hondo did the deadening. He's done stage 1, which is the inside of the outer skin. Stage 2, which is the outside of the inner skin. And then he's working on stage 3. So if you know, we like to make templates and we like to notch for all the access points so that anybody ever has to service the vehicle, they can do it without having to rip apart the entire install. Check this out. I mean, it's hard for me to even tell what's what. We ended up running power and ground directly to the battery. So if you can see, both ground wires are directly to the battery. And then you have both, okay, see, I lost them. That's sick, Hondo. And then your power wire will go directly to the battery. But he built this bracket where everything is heat shrunk, braided, mounted, and everything is here with all your other electronics. So if you ever have to service it, you can just press those buttons and you're back in business. All right. So the fiberglass enclosure, right? So this is the back of the fiberglass enclosure. We'll show you that in a minute, but you can see how well it fits, right? So it takes, I mean, it fits in there. The carpet will still go back in. Client, in essence, loses no footwell space, but we get a ton of output. This is the footwell enclosure. And if you saw it before, it was just this MDF wood because this way we make a shell. And the shell allows us to verify that it's going to fit. And then it also allows us to glass it outside of the vehicle. But just wanted to show you how, I mean, that hurts a little bit. So, I mean, it is ridiculous, right? How strong thing is, right? So it's pretty impressive. So now we're gonna body work it, even though nobody's gonna see it. We're gonna body work it and make it look good. We'll paint it black. And if you look at the inside, so it's all black, we add a fillet. So we add fillets everywhere there's a square corner. So the way we do it is we glass it without the back so that we can get to the whole inside. We put fillets in every corner so that we make sure that those are, a fillet is basically like a little, so if you think of so if you have a right angle, a fillet is like this. So we fill every corner with, it's a mixture of fiberglass resin, matte, and a thickening agent so that it stays, right? But that creates this triangle or this gusset, fillet, and reinforces all your corners so that we make sure that the box will not split anywhere there's a seam because those are your weak points, right? We did another car for Brian. He liked it so much that he went and got another car for us to do. So this one just happens to be a sports car. His previous car was an SUV, and this car is a sports car. It's a 2-door convertible, but we're still using the same recipe per se. He really liked that car. He liked it so much, he got another one for us to do. So we're using the Audison Voces. This is the 3-inch. This is lasered with acrylic, tapped, so that the speaker mounts as if it came with the car. We'll show you in a minute, but we also solder in these connectors so that it plugs in like it's an OEM speaker in the stock location. He really likes an active center. So active center basically means that the middler and the tweeter are driven by their own dedicated channels. Why would you do that? Well, it allows you to have a ton more control in the DSP over the frequencies because the tweeter plays from a certain point all the way up and the middler plays from the point where the tweeter stops and down to a certain section, right? By running them actively, we're able to affect the tweeter and the middler separate as far as EQ, power, time. It just, again, just makes it infinitely more flexible. But I want to show you how complicated this is. So it has to fit in the dash. Now the dash came with just a regular speaker. It never came with an active setup. These Audison Voces have a little chamber on the back. It's hard to see, but there's a little chamber. That chamber is a tune chamber for the tweeter. So in order, it's almost like, you can think about it kind of like a box for a woofer, but a really, really small woofer. This is 4 layers. So there's the base layer, which is what this mounts to. There's the bridge layer, which is what the tweeter mounts to. And then in order so that the middler, when it's playing, doesn't hit the tweeter, they're tiny. I mean, we'll show you in a video. They're literally that thick. And so it's just 2 spacer rings glued onto the bridge. They're actually that thick. So there's 2 spacer rings glued on top of this in order to move the tweeter up enough so that it clears the middler when it's playing. But we also have to keep into account that there's a factory grill over this. So there's limitations, but we're able to fit it, and now he'll have an active center. So the big feat is to put in a 10-inch woofer and lose no footwell space. In a 2-seat convertible, that is damn near impossible. But by relocating some modules and moving cover plate that is there basically to protect the module, we're able to get it. But just wanted to show you the size of the woofer. So this is the Audio Mobile, the Elite 3210. So it's more along the lines of a traditional sub, right? It's not a shallow sub. Like a lot of their speakers are shallow subs. They meant to work in really shallow enclosures and really small airspace. It's a reason we like them so much. But the output is ridiculous. So even though they're designed to work in really small enclosures, they have a ton of output and they play really low. So we're super excited about this one because we get a ton of benefit. Not only is a footwell sub, if you've been following any of our C8 videos with the footwell subs already sound phenomenal. Number 2 is we're gonna be loading against the firewall. So the enclosure actually sits this way. This is the center console here, and the firewall is here. So the enclosure is actually gonna fire into the firewall, load, and obviously all that bass is gonna be upfront bass, right? So you're literally gonna have a front sub, but the benefits of being in the footwell, forward firing, loading, it's gonna be unreal. So we're super excited, stay tuned. So before we put all the speakers in, just wanted to show you. So these are the Helix i5. So they're the i5-8s. These things are amazing. And these are the flex mounts. So the flex mounts are a adapter system. So you kind of the way we do it, where you buy the speaker and you normally build the adapter. In this case, you buy the speaker and you buy the adapter. The nice thing is it's OE. So, you know, it's just like factory. The original plug plugs in, it bolts in, it comes gasketed, the woofer's gasketed. So it's just like plug and play, right? So they don't make adapters for the Audison. So they make them for any of the Helix products. So i3, i7, any of the i5s, but not for Audison. So in this particular case, we're using the Helix woofers and the Voce, Audison Voce middlers, as well as the Audison Voce tweeters. This is the 1.1, so it's the larger of the 2. And then we're also making a active center. So that's the Voce with the tweeter floating above it. Again, we want it to be plug and play. So we made these adapters because they come with these pigtails. So in order for it to plug into the car, and that will now plug into the car. The reason on this particular case we're using this because it mounts to the door and secures this clip to the door panel. So we have one for each tweeter. For the door speakers, they don't make one. So there isn't an adapter, and this adapter does not fit. So what we do is we machine our own and use pins. This will line up to the original adapter and get heat shrunk. So now, in essence, we're converting that adapter to an Audison adapter. So now the speaker will still plug and unplug like factory, except it'll now be an Audison connector, but we haven't modified the vehicle at all. And then for the center channel, same thing. We're gonna have this one for the 3-inch, and this will be, we ran our own center channel because it wasn't from the factory. So we're gonna do this to make it active. All right, so a lot of times we get the question, what's active versus non-active? Active basically means we're actively running each speaker with its own dedicated channel. So if it was passive, this would be an assembly where it's the tweeter and the middler or a coaxial. and there's a single channel, and then it's split between the two. So we're using a passive crossover to the tweeter. But right now, we're gonna do it actively. We're running an active channel to the middle and an active channel to
our website at showtimeaudiochicago.com.